Hey you guys, this is Marlyn with Beautiful Bina Designs. I'm back with another card share video. Last week I shared my very first video. I mentioned during that video that I'm relatively new to card making. I'm a longtime crafter, but new to card making and brand new to YouTube crafting video making. This is my second one. So what I thought I'd share today are some of the cards that I made with the My Monthly Hero March 2018 card kit by Hero Arts. I shared the February 2018 My Monthly Hero kit last time, and now here we go, moving forward on to the next kit. If any of you did tune in and watch that video, you may recall that I speculated I might get 2 viewers, I might get 4, maybe even 6. I was fairly certain that my mom would watch, and she did. Thanks, Mom. Also, I got a call from my mother-in-law. She watched too, of course, and she called me up to share some very complimentary words, and I appreciate that. My mother-in-law is always very supportive of me, so it's no surprise that both she and my mother would watch my first ever crafting video. But I must share with you that including both my mom and my mother-in-law, I received exactly 1 subscriber. Now, I'm no mathematician, but I'm just kidding, you guys. I had a lot of fun making that video, and I actually received 38 views and a couple of comments. Big shout out to Seashells, who left me my very first comment. Really kind words, and I appreciate that so much, Seashells. Thank you for that, and thank you for all of you who tuned in to watch. I am going to get it right into things and start sharing the cards that I made with the March 2018 My Monthly Hero kit. Now, I have to tell you guys that I struggled a little bit with this kit. I think it was pretty aptly described as a basics kit. It is an incredible kit for stash building, but I found it to be pretty challenging to create very many cards without pulling things in from outside of the kit. So I did use some items from my stash, and I'll share that with you a little bit here as I get into them. So let's dive right in. Here is free hugs, free hugs, free hugs. All of this is from the kit with the exception of the ink colors that I used. Those are pigment inks that I used to stamp free hugs multiple times in different colors. And then that oval die underneath the hugs word, that also came from my stash. The sequins were included, and there were just really a ton of great sentiments and several fancy word dies. With the sentiment stamps, you could even build sentiments. You could build the words upon others and really get creative and come up with some different things. So here's my first card, which is those free hugs. Another free hugs card, this one in a square shape this time. This ribbon is actually what Hero Arts used to tie this month's kit together. I added, in addition to the ink colors, I also added some Nouveau Crystal drops. So I went with, I believe it's called Liquid Mercury maybe, and then some white drops I added. I used the fancy word die that was included in the kit, and I did shadow cut it in white. That silver embossing powder also came with the kit, and it was great. It was a lot of fun to work with, and it melted really well. Here we get into Amazing. That uses the same die cut as the free hugs, but it coordinates with this Amazing stamp as well. You are amazing, amazing, amazing. I also cut out some feathers using a die, and that may or may not have been included in the February kit. I'm not sure if that was the feather die, one of the feather dies that came with that kit or not. But what is interesting to me about this card is that I put it on a blue card base. I do have a tendency to stick with either white, craft, or occasionally black. Not too frequently do I go with colored card bases, but I think that this blue, it looks kind of cute. It's different and I like it. So there is You Are Amazing, Amazing, Amazing. What I did again this month, here's another amazing, so amazing, 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 amazing card. I created a ton of elements, so I had a lot of fun playing with the stamps and the dies and the embossing powders. This was my first shot at the silver embossing powder that was included in the kit. It is a little bit splotchy, and that is completely my fault. It took me just a little bit of practice to get that embossing powder melting just the way that I needed it to. And I also got a new heat gun too, and I think I might talk about that in a different video. But trust me, I had heard many crafters talk about the difference that the heat gun can make, the heat tool that you use, and it's true. I switched heat guns and got dramatically better results. I am using the Wagner heat tool now that I've heard so many other crafters rave about, including Jennifer McGuire and several other just professional crafters. So if you are using something other than the Wagner heat gun and you're not liking your results, I encourage you to try the Wagner heat gun. I was able to pick mine up on Amazon for only $25, which is a pretty great deal. So there's a little idea for you, and I will even include a link to it in case you want to check it out. But what I was saying, I got a little bit off on a tangent there. I made a bunch of elements. I made a bunch of these amazing stamped die cuts and those feathers that were on the last card and some other elements that you'll see as we go through here. And then I sat down to have some fun being creative and putting them together. So this card here is just a little bit more abstract. I just kind of started placing things down until I found it in such a way that I liked. I did add the white shimmer spray that was included as an add-on option with the March 2018 kit. I did go ahead and purchase that, as well as the white detail embossing powder from Hero Arts. And I'm glad that I did. These two products are great. I'm not sure that you can actually see the shimmer here or not. I just used a little bit, but in person it gives it just the right amount of twinkle. It's really pretty. And then I used the silver embossing powder again on the inside. So this card in total reads So Amazing, 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 Amazing Are You. Here's a birthday card, and this one is obviously square. Most of my cards are A2. This one is very different for me, though, not only because of its size and shape, but because it's very pastel colored, and maybe even a little bit brighter than pastel, but like this blue ribbon and stuff. Very different from me, not my mainstream at all. But I had these supplies kind of within arm's reach, and I had created this Sending Big Birthday semicircle element using some clear embossing powder from my stash, stamps from the kit. I had also created this Hugs banner, and when I put that pink and blue together, it just seemed to complement this patterned paper that I had in my stash. Again, a little bit outside of my norm. I'm not sure that it's my favorite card from this selection, but it's all right. It's kind of cute, and I'll give that to somebody special. This one, now I mentioned Tina with Cards and Coffee Time. I mentioned her in my last video, and I really enjoy watching Tina's process videos. I find her to be incredibly creative, but also quite relatable. While she makes beautiful cards, as I'm watching her make them, I feel like I could make them as well. I don't feel overwhelmed. I feel like she's just very, very crafty, but she kind of lays things out in a way that I'm able to reproduce some of her inspiring designs. And this is one of those. Tina created something very similar in her 10 cards, 1 kit process video from this, my monthly hero kit. And I really just copied it pretty much. I used some different colors, and maybe it's not 100% exactly the same, but I did really take a lot of this right from some inspiration that Tina had laid out for me. So once again, Tina, thank you. And I'm going to link to Tina's YouTube channel as well, because if you guys have not checked her out, I think you'd really enjoy the stuff that she makes. Here's one that's a little bit different. I used that fancy Hugs word die, and I used some glitter paper from my stash, gold glitter paper. I shadowed with white cardstock. I also used some vellum and some gold embossing powder from my stash, as well as this baker's twine and some Nuvo drops. I put all of these items together pretty basically, a repeating pattern. I actually just kind of randomly stamped those flowers in the background, and then a simple piece of vellum. Sending Hugs. This Sending is the white unicorn pigment ink that came with the kit, and it is fantastic. I had never used it before. I didn't have it in my stash. I'm thrilled to be able to add it to my stash. If you have not used that white unicorn ink, it is great. So I do highly recommend it. Here's another free hugs card. Sending lots of free hugs, free hugs, free hugs, and kisses. Here is a card where I used that white detail embossing powder that I purchased as an add-on. I really enjoyed how well that melted as well. These are grungy stamps. The Amazing, the Free Hugs, this ampersand, they are grungy stamps. So that is meant to look like that, and I think it is pretty cool looking. This white doodle I created using a die from my stash, and then I added this sort of denim blue paper from my stash as well to create this card. A lot of the other elements that you're seeing did come with the kit, including those star sequins, which are really cool. Here is my first ever shaker card. So I'd never made one before, and I was kind of curious. I wanted to give it a try. And so I decided to use this kit to do that. It came with sequins, and it came with some really great stamps, and I thought, why not? Let's give it a try. So that hello there is stamped. That is from the kit, and that's using the white unicorn ink. It gives it kind of a chalkboard feel because, again, it has pigment, the grungy stamps, the grungy stamps with that pigment ink really gives it kind of a chalkboard look, and I did that again with Amazing. This gray wood grain paper is actually left over from the February 2018 kit. I didn't use it all, and it is beautiful paper, so I decided to pull it in and create this card with it. So hello there, Amazing, with some interactive shaking there. I think that is just adorable. I can't wait to send that to somebody special. And last but not least, this might be my favorite card. I have to tell you that I am loving bringing these embossing folders into my card making. I don't have many embossing folders, but I think maybe I have like 8 of them or so. But I find that whenever I am interested in using an embossing folder for a card, I have multiple options that I feel would work great. They just so easily give you dimension and sort of a wow factor. I love using embossing folders. I'm really enjoying experimenting with them. I previously did a lot of scrapbooking, and so I didn't ever use an embossing folder until I got this die cut machine and really got into card making. I had never used an embossing folder. So I've got sort of a geometric design back here. And with just a couple of elements to the card, it just gives this card so much interest. I used a piece of scrap glitter paper from my stash, a couple sequins from my stash, those red ones. The other sequins came with the kit. Again, that fancy hello die with, I used the silver embossing powder on the top layer, and then I did a red shadow behind it. Very easy, but really cute. I think this one might be my favorite from the kit. So that's everything that I have to share with you guys this week. Thanks again for stopping by to check out some of my little creations. I hope that you enjoyed the few minutes you spent watching my video, and that maybe you even found a little bit of inspiration through some of my cards. Thank you again so much. If you have any questions or would like to share any comments, I would love to hear from you. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.